Hi everyone, I'm Jessica with that hashtag show, and I'm very excited to be here today with Russell T Davies, showrunner of Doctor Who. I'm a big Doctor Who fan, so I'm
Oh, I can see the T-shirt. Isn't that episode brilliant? Vincent the Doctor. Beautiful.
now one of my favorite things about the show is that every Doctor is a little bit the same and a little bit different. And now we're getting to go into Ncuti's second season as the 15th Doctor. So I want to know, what did you learn from working with him in the first season that you're bringing into this second season?
Well, mainly, I mean, instantly with shooting, you learn trust. And actually, I say learn, that was just immediately apparent from the first audition onwards. It's like, never forget that when we auditioned Shooting Hour, there was no second audition, there was no third audition. It was an instant yes. That's very rare. Even with big, big names for a leading role like this, you normally test them again and again. He was straight in, and what I mean, it's what these. It's always the way with great lead actors. They teach you, and they teach you the most powerful thing they teach you is to be limitless. Because I always think I sit here, I send out a script. I never want there to be a day where Shooty walks onto set and think, "Oh, I've done this before." Oh, I'm bored of this, or I don't get this. And so you literally, and it's the true of all the writers, it's like it makes you summon your superpowers because you want every day to give him a great gag. You want every day to give him a great speech, or even if it's action, you want the action to be exciting, or you want the stunts to be brilliant, but especially the dialogue, or you want him to say something wise and insightful. And the great thing about someone like Shooty is that they're limitless. Sometimes with some actors, they even really really famous actors, sometimes they have a range. So you write within that range. You know, even some of your favorite actors, they're good at this kind of stuff. And if they get too dramatic or if they get too funny, you don't like it. You want them to stick to their range. I mean, you can see clearly that's not the way with Shooty. And you want to push into all extremes. And that's happened on this series. There are moments working with Juno Dawson, working with Inua Ellams, working with Sharma, working with lovely Pete McTighe, where I've said, can you make the Doctor angrier than we've ever seen him? Or sometimes it's like, let's have more of a laugh than we've ever seen. Or let's just get wilder here. Or let's change his character here so he's more off kilter and slightly out of it. And you just know it's like it makes you a very good pitcher at baseball. I'm doing baseball analogies. I have no idea how baseball works, but it makes you a better pitcher somehow if you know they're going to knock it out the park. No, wait, that's a bad pitcher because a bad pitcher doesn't want them to knock it at all. Right? It makes you a really bad pitcher because you know he's going to hit every ball out the park.
There you go. Perfect baseball analogy.
American analogies. I'm not very good. Thank you.
You're making it work. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Now,
One more
I
time.
know you just brought up some of your new writers, and I'm excited that we're going to see some new faces, or well, behind the scenes faces this season. How did you go about sort of bringing together everyone's individual talents with your vision for where the season was going?
Yes, it's simple. I mean, something I often do. It's like I work with a lot of writers all the time. Like in 2023, I got three shows on television by new writers on the BBC and ITV, which I'm very proud of. I mean, for example, Inua Ellams, who's written episode five, who is we are releasing our episode titles this weekend, I think, so they'll be available soon. For that, he's a huge playwright. He has plays on at the National Theatre. He's a poet. He's a performance artist. He's an activist. So he's someone I just found massively interesting anyway. I went and saw a play of his at the National Theatre in London called Barbershop Chronicles. And something about it just made me think, oh, that man should be writing Doctor Who. And then it turned out I was right. I came out, I made inquiries, and it turned out he'd been developing a Doctor Who episode with my predecessor, Chris Chibnall. But I didn't know that. It was weird. I didn't know that. And it turns out he'd loved Doctor Who since he was a child. He used to watch it in Nigeria when he was 11 years old and adores it. So sometimes it's a symmetry. Someone like Juno, I've known for many, many years. Juno has a range of best-selling novels. Pete McTighe had also known for has written Doctor Who before and literally lives in Cardiff. It's ridiculous that we haven't turned to Pete before this. I've also known him for about 10 or 15 years. I think he's wonderful. Someone like Sharma, then my job was to look for someone completely new to me, which is Sharma Angel Wallfall. It turns out we'd met. We met when she was like 12 years old, and I went to our local theatre, which you can see from my window, obviously. It's like about 500 yards away is the Contact Theatre. I went there to give a tour about 20 years or 15 years ago, and she was a little 12-year-old schoolgirl listening to me give a talk. So isn't that strange? Life is just strange sometimes, but it's not just me. We have a team of script editors, we have a team of execs, and we are always, always looking for new writing, always, because it's our job. It's partly our job to keep refreshing Doctor Who. It's also a bigger job to pay it forward. You know, we've all been tremendously lucky, and I know how lucky I am to be in this position. And you've got to pay it forward. Hopefully, then, when I'm 90 years old, these people will be turned around and commission me as a favour to the old guy, or they'll probably just kick me out into the streets and get back in the gutter.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I like that you have a Doctor Who sense about people, that you just say, ooh, you have a Doctor Who feeling to you. You could do it.
Yeah. Do you know? I think there is such a yes. There's some writers I would never ask. That's very interesting, actually. Yeah. Although, yes, I think everyone would have a little spin in the TARDIS. Really, no, it has happened. Over the past, going all the way back to 2005, there have been writers we've asked who simply just don't get it,
Mhm.
and you very quickly discover that and happily, part ways as friends. But you've got to get this stuff. It's a very hard show. It's a surprisingly hard show to write because the basic format of Doctor Who is that the cleverest person in the universe, traveling in the most brilliant spaceship in the universe, arrives on a planet and hits a problem. It's like, well, he can solve any problem, and he can be a she and solve any problem. It's like it's very, very hard to find things to throw at the Doctor, and new writers find that immensely difficult because they'll have the Doctor going, I wonder what's going on here, and you have to sit there giving notes, going, he doesn't wonder that for long. He knows everything. He's been everywhere. He's seen everything. He would know what's going on. So you've got to work harder to make him work harder. So it's tough, but I think that pays off. I think it works.
It's true. It's true. And now I'm excited this season to get a new companion, but
Yeah.
specifically a reluctant companion, one who is not
Yes.
super excited to be joining the TARDIS, which we haven't seen in a very long time in the series.
Yes, it's about. I mean, actually, the very first pair on board the TARDIS, Ian and Barbara, in 1963, were practically kidnapped, and the Doctor took them away. And then one of my absolute favourites is Janet Fielding as Tegan in the 1980s. So I adored. She was. I was 1981, so I was 18, and I was just going away to university, and she became the Doctor's companion. It's one of those ages when you could have given up Doctor Who.
Mhm.
I'm 18, I'm leaving home now, and I didn't. And actually, it was Tegan. I love Tegan. I thought, oh my god, she thinks the Doctor's a madman and just wants to get back to her job. And then so sometimes that can work, and that's the case with Barrett now, because Belinda, the mystery with Belinda is that the Doctor can't get her home, and the TARDIS keeps bouncing off this very significant date, May the 24th, 2025, when she leaves the planet. So that does get resolved. There's an entire episode which actually transmits and drops in America on May the 24th. You will get to see that, and that's only episode 7. So then there's episode 8 to come. So there's a lot of things to happen. But it's like, I can guarantee you at the same time that, as with Tegan, as with Belinda's predecessors, they also very quickly realize how wonderful this life is and how fantastic it is, and they can see alien planets and the history and different, just in different countries on Earth. She has a wonderful time, but she's not wrong. She's very much aware of the fact that in some ways Ruby was a bit more wide-eyed and a bit more. The Doctor was more paternal to her, or so she kind of soaked up everything with happiness. Belinda's been a nurse in A&E, so she's a little bit tougher, and she's very quick to realize everyone, wherever you land, is pointing a gun at you and is out to kill you. And that's something you want to get out of. So she's not mad. She's quite right, but she does have a good time. I really want to impress the fact she very quickly thinks the Doctor is wonderful as well. Because how could you not? You're traveling with Shooty Gatwa. Of course you do. Of course you
Have to be drawn in. All right,
do.
last one for you. I know we can't go too deep into spoilers, but I want to know, what episode are you most excited for fans to see this season? You can give me a name, give me a number, give me a vague.
As a rough guide, I'm going to say, especially if you're online and you want to watch episodes unspoilt, and
Mhm.
as soon as they drop, I would watch episode 3 and 6.
Okay, big ones for the spoilers. Good to know.
But lots of other things happen in lots of other episodes as well. But those two, especially for fans, your heads will explode in those two. Yeah.
Okay. I
It
love
will.
that. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for everyone to see. Thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you, Jessica.